we've been seeing more and more stories involving ordinary, everyday Ukrainians who are doing what they can with the little resources they have to fight back against Vladimir Putin and the Russian invasion into their country. Now, I want to give a few examples, starting with one example featuring a Ukrainian who decided to take matters into his own hands when he noticed that a Russian oligarch's yacht was available for the taking, kind of. So this had to do with Taras Ostapachuk, who is a chief engineer of the Lady Anastasia super yacht. And apparently a Ukrainian sailor noticed that this super yacht belonged to a Russian oligarch and decided to take matters into his own hands. And so he decided to sink it. Well, at least partially sink it. Okay, so Taras opened a large valve in the engine room and then another in the crew members' quarters. He also closed the fuel valves to prevent pollution from leaking and switched off the electricity. Then he told crew members to abandon ship. Despite the efforts of crew members and other port workers to stop the leakage, the damage had been done and the Lady Anastasia was partially sunk. In court, by the way, Taras said that he only wanted to cause material damage as an act of revenge, but not any personal harm to the owner. They were attacking innocents, he told the judge when brought to court. I don't regret anything I've done. I would do it again. The sailor was arrested, but has since been released. According to his attorney, there is an investigation underway, and he does face some pretty serious charges for damaging private property. But he's actually more concerned with defending his country. After his release from detention, he's headed back to his homeland on Monday. As soon as he arrives, he told reporters he'll try to join the Ukrainian forces defending the country. I will not lose my country, he told Ultima Aura. I am not a hero. I'm not an older man, but
I am an older man.
Oh, I am an older man, my bad. But with a lot of experience in mechanics, I have never held a gun, but if necessary, I will. Why not? Wow.
Yeah, so now look, guys, we can't do this, right? We can't take the law into our own hands. And oftentimes when you do, you attack the wrong people. You can't let emotions run wild. Yesterday we told you the story of rocks being thrown through an innocent restaurant in Washington, D.C. called the Russia House. They had nothing to do with it. Don't do this normally. Under these circumstances, let him go! Let him go! Now look, first of all, it's not in America, not my jurisdiction, okay? Yeah, I know that's weak excuse, but in this case, the guy's a literal Russian arms dealer. His weapons are dropping on the heads of Ukrainian children. So this guy is the Ukrainian guy here has given up his salary, his career, everything, and he didn't hurt anyone, and he made sure that everybody else got off the ship. In fact, they partially saved the ship because he warned the others. Right,
he warned the crew.
The crew who are also Ukrainian, right? And he made sure that everybody got off the boat. So no one was hurt, and he hurt the $7 million yacht of a Russian arms dealer. Let him go! And it looks like they did. They're like, oh, very serious charges coming up, but you can go to Ukraine and fight the Russians.
But we have more examples for you, okay? I wanna go to this incredible, she's being referred to as a grandma. She might be a grandma. She's an older woman, but she is not deterred by Putin and Russian troops. In fact, she's doing what she can to fight back. Let's watch.
In an eastern suburb of the city, Raisa Shmatko's front yard has turned into a staging area.
So you can see they're collecting things to donate to people, sleeping bags, sleeping mats, pickles, foods.
Shmatko is a grandmother and a retired economist. Now she spends her days preparing for battle. These are the only weapons she has, but she says she's ready to fight. Let those Russians come here, she says. We are ready to greet them.
How did you learn how to make Molotov cocktails?
Google helped, she tells me.
If Russian forces push into the capital here in Kyiv, what will you do?
We will beat them. They won't come, she tells us. I believe in our Ukraine. I believe in Ukrainian people.
Now, women like this are my battery charger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Me too.
She's strong, unafraid. I just, defiant. I love it. I love it. It gives me strength.
So she's a retired economist.
Let them come.
She's like, let those S's come, okay? Let them come. See how it turns out for them. As they said in Game of Thrones, come and find out. Come and find out, okay? And the Ukrainians are just naturally doing it. They did it on day one. It's not like they saw the media and they're like building into the hype. First day, the Russian tanks are in the city. Another, I couldn't tell if she's a grandma or middle-aged woman, walks up to a soldier and gives them sunflower seeds. I'm like, where's this going? She's like, put these in your pocket because I want them to grow into beautiful sunflowers when you all die here. I was like, yes, okay. You want to invade their country? They got sunflowers for you. Come and get some. And of course, the legendary Russian warship, go F yourself.
Right,
Thank God those guys are alive.
Well, we have another example for you because we had reported earlier on the insanely long, 40-mile long Russian convoy headed to Kyiv. And every now and then you'll see these videos on social media featuring Ukrainians fighting back against members of the Russian military. And there was this video floating around, which I really enjoyed because it takes a lot of bravery to approach these Russian troops the way that this Ukrainian did. So let's take a quick look at that.
Сломались, пацаны. Сломались. Можно оттащить на Россию обратно. А вы хоть знаете, куда вы едете?
Нет.
Куда? На Киев, блядь, хуярите. Да.
А что по новостям говорят?
Ну, у вас пока все на нашей стороне. Ваши и плен сдаются хорошо. Потому что тоже пацаны не знают, куда едут и ехать, блядь. И я вот всю колонну пообспрашивал таких, как вы. Никто не в курсе вообще, кто куда едет.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No, I love that. Can I tow you back to Russia was a great line.
Yeah.
But the line I liked better was, no, it's okay. Your boys surrender well. Okay, man, they got some stones on them in Ukraine. I love these guys.
It is kind of amazing how, the Russian troops there made it very clear that they didn't even know where they were going. That they were out of fuel, they don't know where they're going. Obviously this is anecdotal, but it does go along with this trend that we're seeing in regard to Russian troops kind of running into all sorts of like logistical issues, being ill prepared. And it goes along with what we've been saying about Putin like really miscalculating things.
Yeah.
I'm here for it, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the number one thing he miscalculated was the size of the fight in the Ukrainians.
Right.
So, it started instantly. The Americans asked Zielinski if he wants to be evacuated. He says, I don't need a ride, I need ammunition. The fight is here.
Right.
They asked Vitaly Klitschko, who's a multi-millionaire. He's the mayor of Kyiv, but he was the heavyweight champion of the world. He said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to the streets and we're gonna fight. His brother signed up for the reserves a month ago to fight Russians, also a heavyweight champion. And then another Olympic gold boxing champion in Ukraine said, I'm going back to Ukraine and getting a gun and fighting the Russians. These guys are the best badasses I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, oftentimes when we talk about things that fall apart in a country like the United States, we discuss how the fish rots from the head down. Leadership is important, but the reverse is also true. Good leadership can boost morale. Good leadership can unite the country. And I feel like that is the case with Vladimir Zelensky and how he has refused to evacuate the country, how he remains in Ukraine and continues to fight himself. And so last but not least, I wanna take you to this video featuring Zelensky and how he remains defiant.
Всім доброго ранку, українці. Зараз в мережі дуже багато з'явилось фейкової інформації, що, немов я закликаю складати зброю, нашу армію і йде евакуація. Значить так, я тут, ніяку зброю ми не складемо, будемо захищати нашу державу, Тому що наша зброя – це наша правда. Наша правда в тому, що це наша земля, наша країна, наші діти. І ми все це будемо захищати. Ось і все. Ось це і є те, що я хотів вам сказати. Слава Україні!
Now compare that to bunker boy Donald Trump, who immediately found shelter in the White House bunker as protesters were protesting outside of the White House.
It was a Black Lives Matter protest. It was perfectly peaceful, but he's like, oh my God, black people are here, and he hid in a bunker. Meanwhile, that's the second video Zelensky did. The first one was at night because the Russians had put out propaganda that he'd run. And so he did a video with him and his ministers, and he said, I am here. And he went minister by minister, he is here, he is here. And then he said, all of Ukraine is here waiting for you. Damn, I love that. Putin, you miscalculated, brother. You didn't know what you were gonna run into. So Zelensky's been a giant, Klitschko was excellent. And you're right, Anna. I mean, it looks like the Ukrainians didn't need much inspired to begin with. I mean, they were ready for this fight, unlike anything I've ever seen. But yes, that leadership from the top made a huge difference. And the more you fight, the more the Russians get bogged down, and the more courage you have, and the more the Russians start to worry. So look, guys, we're early days. The Russians are going to surround Kyiv, and it is going to get ugly. But it's not, the one thing we know for sure, it ain't gonna be easy. The Ukrainians are gonna make them fight for it. And let me leave you with one more thing here. Zelensky, in one of the early conversations he had when the invasion first began and the bombings began, when he talked to European Union leaders, he said, this is the last time you might see me alive. Now, he's been okay since, but when they come to Kyiv, remember, they could all die. Klitschko could die, Zelensky could die, all of these folks. That lovely little grandma you saw, the retired economist. When mass civilian deaths happen, it happened in Iraq, it happened in so many places. Vietnam, you name it. Afghanistan, both the Russians and the Americans did it, right? It doesn't discriminate. So I love their courage, and that courage is very real, because they're in a perilous situation right here. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.